I've started it. Okay.
Yeah, so we discussed about the 3 elements that are critical in Scrum. Talked about the roles of Scrum, event of Scrum, the artifacts, and we still went further to discuss about under the event of Scrum, we have sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and you also made it clear to us that we talked about the user story, and you said that a good user story must be negotiable, a good user story must add values, a good user story must be tested. And someone else can join and continue from there. Thank you.
We went through. Okay.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
So we just went in a bit more detail about the after talking about the different agile frameworks and the comparisons, advantages, disadvantages. We took a bit of time to really break down the sort of Scrum framework, the ceremonies, the artifacts, the stakeholders who is involved, and like Larissa was saying, using invest to properly understand the usual stories to be sure that you've got the right thing. So that was the main focus of the last lesson, the recap and the proper understanding of how Scrum really works and everything involved.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay, so the last time we spoke about user story writing. And I remember that I said that these are part of the critical things that a good delivery manager needs to know. And that's how we came up with the tool, which we call INVEST. And we said it's an acronym, right? So, and we said INVEST criteria would help us with many things. And then I explained what each of those stand for. So who can tell me what the INVEST criteria stand for? I don't want it to be Kemi. I don't want it to be any of the people that have been partaking. Something, what did I say that INVEST criteria stand for? Something?
Sorry, I can't remember again.
You can't? Okay. So this is why this is important. I need it to be that everybody understands. Okay. So you can't remember what we said about INVEST criteria, right? Olu A, are you able to help us? Something can't remember. What did we say about INVEST criteria? Olu A?
I was the first person that spoke on what we did last week, and you said you don't want any of the 3 people that have spoken to speak now.
Okay, no problem. Loretha?
You still want me to talk?
Hi, Loretha. Can you tell me what the INVEST criteria stands for?
Well, to my own understanding, I feel the INVEST criteria is just about delivering valuable work. I don't know if I'm right.
No, you are not.
It states how to create agile user story.
No, you are not. I want the full meaning. I want what it stands for. What does it stand for?
You said for a user story to be... Okay, sorry.
No. Yes. I want people that have not been talking. I want to be sure everybody is with me. Oluyinka, can you tell me?
Excuse me. Invest criteria, to my understanding, it's an independent, negotiable, valuable. It is used to, to reveal quality of user stories presented to the team's work. So it's part of the tools used in achieving team's work.
Of course, it's part of the tool, but I want, well, you've tried a bit, but I want the full, what INVEST stands for. What does it stand for? As a delivery manager, if you don't know this, then you can't support your Scrum Masters. You can't support your product owner, and you can't support your team. What does INVEST stand for? At least you have tried. Thank you.
Hi, Femi.
Okay.
Yeah, if I recall again, you said that invest criteria is a guide
Yes.
to a good user story.
So what does it stand for? INVEST.
That it's independent. It stands on its own. You made example of maybe someone wants to make a cup of tea. You have to go through this. Then you now ask us. So we said it has a lot of forgotten. It has a lot of features on it. So you now said yes, that the best way is a good user story stand on its own, as in it doesn't have. That's how I can explain. I'm a bit lost.
Well done. Well done. Anybody else? Well done. At least well done. All right.
So can I?
Yes, Kemi, you can do.
Okay. So so I think Lorita or someone else has said independent, negotiable, valuable. And then the other three are estimatable, small, and testable.
Fantastic. A good user story must be independent. All right. And the example that you are trying to give, which is good, okay? The example that you were trying to give earlier, Olu, is when a user story is independent, it doesn't have so many things that can tie it down. We want to deliver it. I gave you an example of making a tea. There are so many things making a tea is dependent on. You need a kettle. You need to boil water. You need tea bags. You need a mug. You need sugar. You need milk. Those are independent products on their own. You cannot, sorry, can you mute yourself, guys, please? If you have a noise in the background, please mute yourself. So you cannot want to make a tea. You are creating user story. You now say, as a user, I want to wash cup and dry the cup and now boil water and put a bag tea or tea bag in a mug and turn. Can you see? There's so many and, which tells us of conjunction, which means there are so many things tied to that. A good user story needs to carry a thought through. It needs to be something you know on its own, you should be able to achieve it. And that's why we say it must be small enough for you to be able to complete within a sprint without standing on anything. All right? So when we said negotiable, we spoke about why it should be negotiable. People should understand it. It shouldn't be something that is obscured to people to fully understand. And we also said that it must be something that adds value. It must be that it gives value. It must be estimatable. All right? It must be testable as well. Those are the things that we said. And I've recapped this. I hope everybody understands now. Something, this is very clear to you now. Is that correct? Hello, Thompson.
Yeah, I do understand it now. Yeah. Thank you. I was just going to
Fantastic.
say thank you for the explanation.
Fantastic. All right. So when we run through it like that, it helps us to know that, well, this is what a good user story. So it is when we have good user story that we can now say that we're looking through criteria under the user story. You may write a good user truly be able to achieve it's meant to be. And we started to talk on that day. We spoke about acceptance criteria. There is what we call the rule of 3 C's. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is what we call the rule of 3 C's in user story writing. Does anybody know what that stands for? Do you know what it means when we talk about the 3 C's in user stories writing?
No, please.
Okay, thank you for saying that. Anybody else?
Cards,
Is there anybody here that understands? Pardon?
cards, conversation, and confirmation.
Conversation now.
And confirmation.
And which other one?
Cards.
Cards. What
Yes.
can you explain what we mean by that? Well done. Can you explain what we mean by that? By cards? Can you?
I can't. I stumble on it on a chart. That's why I have an idea of what it is.
Okay, that's good. And I'm glad, because this is what I want. I want it to be that you guys are able to come through things, and you should be able to bring it to class, to be able to ask me questions. All right? So does anybody else know what that means?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Nobody else does?
So
Huh?
I think the card is the actual written story, written in a way that it would be understood, so that informs on the I think the conversation to be had about
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And out of that conversation will bring any amendments, clarity, and eventual agreement or confirmation that this user story is as it should be.
Okay. Well done, guys. But let me just explain it and break it down. And I want everybody to listen to me. Now, it's like when we say rule of thumbs, that's what this 3 C stands for in good user story writing. And let me lay the foundation. The reason I'm talking about user stories with all of you is because this is the primary tool that your team will be working on if you are working in an IT world. Do you want me to say that again? Do you need me to say
Yes,
this
please.
again, or is it
Yes,
very
please.
clear?
Please repeat it.
Please repeat.
User story is the primary tool that your team will be working on in an IT world. When we say user story is what a developer would read and start to work, to code. Your user story is what the business people would read and take action. Your user story, and that's why it is important that you understand what user story stands for. Okay, so when we say 3 C's, we're talking of your user story must, when we say card, it must be, the story must be small enough to fit into a poster card. Does that make sense, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Is it clear now?
Yes, please.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's clearer now, right? So
Yes, please.
it must be, the story must be short enough to be able to fit into a poster card. We don't want a lengthy story. We don't need A4 user story from you. No developer would have time to read it. You know that developers or scientists are people that don't have time for a lot of readings. So what we are saying is, as a rule of thumb, don't let your user story be too lengthy for them to read. It must fit into a poster card. That's the first C, card. The second one is, a good user story must be conversational. What do we mean by conversational? As a user, I want to cook rice so that I can eat. Can you see that that's conversational?
Mm-hmm.
A good user story is not something, cook rice, eat. Does that make sense?
No. No.
If somebody says cook rice, eat, you've said a statement, but it doesn't make sense to me. I need to know the reason for that product. I need to know what that product stands for, why that product is needed, who that product is for. The what, the who, and the why. 3 W's. What is the product? Who is the product for? And why does that person need the product? Your product owner might say, as a product owner, I want to be able to do this so that I can get this. As a user, I want to be able to press down the door handle in my room so that the door can open. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, please.
There is
Yeah.
the who, there is the what, and there is the why.
Mm.
So your user story needs to be conversational. Now, the third rule of thumbs is the confirmation. Your user story must carry an element of confirmation. Why? Because we must be able to confirm when you have done it that that thing is working as it should work. And that's what usually ties into what we call acceptance criteria. Your acceptance criteria must be attached to user story before the developer starts to develop. Am I helping you? Is it clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
It's getting clearer. Thank you.
Because you're welcome. Because when your developer knows what good looks like, that's when we can say he has done what you ask him to do, or he has not done what you ask him to do. I used to work with a crazy developer when I was with HMRC. This guy didn't like to work. He didn't like people telling him what to do. He was a Jew, all right? He was a British Jew, but he was bamboozling people before I got there. And he was bamboozling them because most of the people that were writing user stories, they wouldn't put acceptance criteria. They wouldn't know what good looks like and present it to him before they start. So by the time he finishes his work, he has loads of excuses. So he starts to tell them off. You didn't tell me that's what you want. You guys didn't say this is what you want. You guys didn't. And for 6 months before I joined them, he was working on just one cluster and he couldn't create a cluster effectively. When I got there, I looked at the problem and I said to them, going forward, I spoke to the product owner. You write the user story. I want acceptance criteria in it. He puts the acceptance criteria. If there are other things, and there are different ways that we write acceptance criteria. I may not go into that now, okay? But as we go on, you might pick that along the line. There are different rules regarding, it could be Gherkin syntax. You've heard Gherkin syntax before, guys?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
What is Gherkin syntax? Tell me.
So
Kemi.
I don't know what the definition is. I just know the style of how it's used to write user stories.
Okay, tell me the
So I
style. What's the
recognize
style?
it.
What's the style?
So like as a user, I need to, so you start with as a user, you want to say what as a user you want to be able to do, or when you need to be able to do something in order that you can do something. So there's a particular either language or style in which you write the story that it kind of follows the flow of, if as a user I go to do something, when I do something, I should be able to get to or do something like that. So
Okay,
I just
well done.
recognize the style and I know it's called Gherkin syntax, not that I can write one
Okay,
myself. Yeah.
okay. Well done. You've tried, but you haven't put it discreetly as I would want you to. So who else can help? Who else understands what a Gherkin syntax is?
I think it's like Emi said, it's a kind of I don't know how to put it, but I wouldn't say it's not, I wouldn't say it's a framework. However, it's used actually to really state out or lay out acceptance criteria in a way that the developer can actually understand it, using the word giving that I have, say for example, given that I have a password or my password to log into this account, and then the password is valid. When I click on enter, then I should be able to have access into my account. So it kind of states the process in a very clear terms. That's my understanding of the Gherkin.
That's good. That's good. It's something like that. All right. What we're saying is a Gherkin syntax is one of the things we use it even in waterfall. And that's why I said that there are different styles of writing acceptance criteria. Gherkin syntax is one of it. Given that I have this, when I have done this, then I should be able to get this. That's one way of writing acceptance criteria. And it is tied to the user story, just as Kemi said. It is tied to the user story that is written. So if I say, as a user, I want to cook jollof rice for 10 people so they can eat at my party. You see? Or as a user, I want jollof rice for 10 people to eat at my party next Saturday. That's a user story, right? Talk to me.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, what do you think could be acceptance criteria attached to this user story, guys? There are steps that must be made. What do you think is hidden in what I have said? What do you think is hidden? What do you think is hidden in what I've said so far? I said that I want rice. I want to cook rice for 10 people. Let's say I just give you as a user story. As a user, I want rice for 10 people. I want to cook rice for 10 people so they can eat at my party next Saturday. I want everybody to talk.
Time is missing there. What time and date?
Okay, I've said next Saturday.
Oh,
What sort of rice?
What type of rice?
rice. Yeah, that's true. Fantastic. Yeah, great.
Any other thing? Any other thing that you think may be missing in the requirements?
Quantity of rice to be cooked for the 10 guests.
But the number of guests can actually help you to know the quantity of rice.
How all the rice will be served?
How it will be served? How? Yeah, that's aesthetic. The rice itself is a product on its own. Service is another product, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why?
The ingredient made up of the rice.
Okay, ladies, I need you to talk. I have lots of ladies on this call. You are not talking.
Where the party is? Where is the party going to hold?
Why?
What has party got to do with rice? I don't care where the party is. You are going out of scope.
Out of context.
Out of scope.
What has venue got to do with you? You are a chef. Your own nothing. You have nothing to do with venue. Let them take it to Kudri or to Canada. It's none of your problem.
Can it be invited people? I don't know.
They've told you.
It's 10 already.
The person has told you 10 people.
Okay.
He already gave you 10 people. He already gave you timeline. Do you understand? There are other things embedded in rice, cooking rice. Now,
ingredients.
You didn't
the
ask.
Ingredients.
You didn't ask, is it white rice that you want? You have not asked if it is fried rice. You have not asked if it is jollof rice. You have not asked what type of rice. And these are some of the things as a delivery manager, you need to be able to think. Somebody just comes to you and say, I want to cook rice for 10 people so that they can eat next. Rice is very vague. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Even if you tell me jollof rice, there are different types of jollof rice. I have friends that they must not touch pepper. They can't eat pepper. If they eat pepper now, you would have to rush them to the hospital. And I have some that without pepper, they can't eat. I have some friends that if you want to cook something for them, you must use specific oil. There are some ingredients that, see, a friend of mine, his son, if you cook jollof rice for his son, if he eats the rice, he can analyze for you everything in that jollof rice. I don't know. He has that gift. He can tell you, oh, there is peri-peri in this rice. There is this in this rice. There is, I don't know. I can't say it. But you know what? You are cooking for 10 people. You wouldn't know if that rice needs to have pepper or not, except you ask. That is why our user story needs to have acceptance criteria. Am I making sense to you guys?
Yeah, certainly.
So it is when it has acceptance criteria that we can say, okay, this user story has now met what we call definition of ready. It is ready for us to pick up and start working on it. Nobody will start cooking rice except they know what you want them to cook. Otherwise, that rice will not meet definition of done when they finish. Definition of done is defined before
By
the
meeting all the
team will
criteria.
Pardon?
By meeting all the criteria.
Exactly. And it's defined by the team with the help of the product owner and business to say, this is what good looks like for us. The team understands the person that is doing the work. The product owner, you as the deliverer, everybody knows what good looks like. We've defined our definition of done, and we've said, when you finish it, put it in a jar, make sure it is code matched, make sure it is tested. If it is not tested, if it is not peer reviewed, if it not, then it has not met definition of done. But your definition of ready needs to be stated before we even pick up the story at all. Otherwise, that story will fail. All right. So when we understand what needs to be done, our time is gone. Once we understand, that's when, like I said to all of you, that's when you can now say that the story is refined. That's when you can ask the team to estimate it. Like the example of rice that I gave you now. Can you tell me, is it the same rice if I want you to cook white rice, just plain white rice? Is it the same time that is going to take you to cook fried rice? Is it the same time?
No.
Guys, ladies,
No.
talk to me. Is it the same amount of money that you spend in cooking white rice? Is it the same costing that it would be for fried rice?
No.
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 Is it
It's
going to be the
vary.
same for jollof rice?
No.
No.
The ingredients and all other factors will determine.
So guys, thinking out of the box, this is how it works in software development world. We cannot generalize things. That's why it is when we understand what needs to be done that the team can then estimate the story. That's when they can tell you, okay, this will be delivered. This should take 5 story points. This should take 3 story points. And if it's an organization where they use days or hours, then the person will be able to tell you, I can't finish this in 3 days, or it will take 5 days. And then you may ask, why 5 days? And then the person may say, don't you get it? I need to order tomatoes.
I need to do this.
I need to buy pepper. I need to go to the market. I need to buy Maggi now. Bro, Maggi is not going to jump down from heaven. No.
I need to mix them up together.
I hope I'm making sense to you guys.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yes, it makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So these are some of the parts that we put together to then say that, yes, well, by the time I go to Woolwich, or by the time I go to Peckham, or by the time I go to Vauxhall, or if it's Liverpool Street Market, I know how long it's going to take me to get to Liverpool Street Market. It's not going to be the same time. And if you're in Nigeria, yes. Oh, you want to go to Oshodi. You know how long it's going to take you, especially if you live in the island. The traffic from island to get to Oshodi, you know what it will take you. So these are some of the things that the developers will put into consideration. And this, at job interviews, they would ask you all of these questions sometimes, right? See, I had an interview with somebody last week, with some people. These are part of the questions that they were throwing. The white people were throwing these questions at the guy. So as a delivery manager, you've got to understand some of this. Okay? So when you now plan, the issue of planning, I gave you a homework. I said you all need to practicalize planning. You all need to practicalize daily stand-up. You all need to practicalize sprint demo. You need to practicalize your retro. You remember? I gave you that. I'm not sure any of you have done it. Have you done it?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about it if you don't do it. I'll leave it to you. It means you don't want the practical experience of it, and I'll leave it at that.
No, we'll do it. We promise.
So I need you all to practicalize it so I can correct you and teach you how to do it the right way. Okay? The next thing.
Sorry, Femi.
Yes. Go for it.
I'm sorry. Can you please repeat what you said you wanted us to do? Reason being, I did not catch it, and also last week I thought you just said we should just read through it, go back and just go through what was said
Oh no,
for that last week. I didn't know that it was an assignment. Okay.
Yes, I said read through it and practicalize it. You remember? I mentioned the word practicalize it. And the reason I said practicalize it is because reading through it is not going to save us a great deal. Okay? You read through, you understand, but except you practicalize it, and that's why this is practical training, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now, the next thing that maybe we should leave the topic of Agile for now. I think we've dealt with this. Is everybody clear now when we talk about the Agile, the ceremonies, and some of those other things that we've mentioned? Are you guys happy now with it?
Yes.
You understand the mindset, you understand the principles now. There's some of them that I've read to you. You understand user story writing now. You understand the roles, the events, and things like that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
The next
please.
thing that perhaps we'll talk about will be the 10 knowledge areas of project management. Okay? It's not all of it that you would use, but I'm telling you, it's important you have understanding of the 10 knowledge areas. And it will lead us into other things tonight. I know that some of your buddies are here that will be able to help you with what they've learned before, what they know as well. I want to be able to share my screen. Am I able to?
Yes, please.
Oh, yes, I can see I'm able to. I was asking because of can everybody see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Please.
Yes, it's up.
See it? Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So when we talk about 10 knowledge areas in typical general project management, these are very important areas that you must know as a delivery manager. You must understand integration management, scope management, time management, cost, risk, quality, HR, communication, procurement, and stakeholder management. They are very critical. Are we clear?
Yes.
Now, tonight, I'm going to try to take some of this as we go on. We'll try to touch all of them. All right. If we can't, then you would have to go back and read on your own. Okay. But these are important things for you to go and study and really read on. Now, there are three parts. There is what we call the triple constraints of project management. What are they? What are the triple constraints of project management? Does anyone know?
Cost, time, and quality.
Cost, time, and quality. Well done. You've tried, but not exactly. Anybody else? Not completely.
Cost, time, and budget.
Budget. Sorry. No, not budget.
You said cost, time, budget. So you've repeated the same thing.
Cost, yeah. Cost.
Your costing is the same as budget, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cost,
Absolutely.
time, and scope.
Cost, time, and scope. Good.
Scope.
Good. Can you see that? What do you have there, guys? Can you see my screen?
We have
Yes,
the
please.
time,
The triple
Time,
cost,
constraint.
and
cost,
scope with
and
the
scope.
quality.
The triangle, yes.
Okay. We call this triple constraints because time is a massive constraint in project management. Cost is a massive constraint in project management. Your scope is also a massive constraint. In the midst of these three, quality must be maintained, it must be achieved. And that's your role as a delivery manager. When we talk about cost, what do we mean by cost? Can you tell me what do we mean by cost?
Cost in terms of financing the project.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you. Cost?
The balance of your
The
budget
cost involved
versus your
in the
spend.
project.
Good. Anyone else?
Cost in time and scope.
Okay, you've all tried. So when we talk about cost is the money that is available for us or for you to manage the project. That's your budget. And the cost is what the actual thing that it will cost you to be able to deliver that project. They can give you a budget that would not be sufficient or that would be more than enough. It is your role as a delivery manager to manage the costing of your project. Now, the problem now is for every project, it is called a project because it is specifically time bound. And within the time, they have given you a scope of work to deliver. If you do not manage your scope, you will run into trouble. Guys, you can imagine when somebody comes to you to say, I'm going to come back to the example of rice that I gave you. And the person said, I want rice for 10 people. But the scope of the work is not defined. You then start to cook white rice. You have finished cooking white rice. The person now comes back to say, I didn't say I want white rice. I said I want jollof rice. Did he tell you jollof rice?
No.
Whose fault will it be?
Initial briefing.
Pardon?
The initial briefing wasn't deep enough.
So who is at fault?
It's the person that takes the brief.
Cooker.
The cook.
Cooker is not a man.
No,
Cooker is a thing.
I mean, the person that gets the contract to cook the rice.
That's the delivery manager.
Delivery manager, because when a brief is being given to you, you didn't ask questions. They are not being specific, and you are not rather.
That's it. As a delivery manager, you will be at fault because your scope was not well defined. And you didn't make sure that you put fire under your product owner or under your business analyst to make sure that the scope is properly defined. Because that white rice that you have cooked will go to waste. Who is going to pay for it?
The project manager.
That's the problem. The reason you have been hired is because they believe you can think out of the box. You can ask questions that the sponsor, the owner of the business, might not have time to be asking. That's why they want to pay you 550 per day. That's why they want to pay you 600 pounds per day. You think it's a joke that somebody will cough out paying you 600 pounds per day? It's not something for you to go and sit down and be drinking tea. They want you to be proactive enough to be able to say, what sort of rice are you talking about? We can't waste money. The person says it's jollof rice. You need to get the scope fine. What type of jollof rice? Do you want pepper in it? Do you want it red?
Well,
What type of oil are we using? Do you want granite oil? Or what sort of oil do you want? Do you want sunflower oil? Do you want olive oil? What type of oil do you want us to use? Do you want it salted or you don't want salt in it at all? If your business analyst do not, or your product owner do not understand that all this needs to be asked, as a delivery manager, you need to step in to teach them, to let them know this. That's why you are the person that is managing end-to-end view of the product. Are we clear?
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you would say, I put something in, we call it triple constraint because a change in one might affect the other.
Absolutely.
What happens if they give you a scope? They said to you, I want you to cook white rice. And you started cooking the white rice, and the product owner comes and says, sorry. It's not white rice anymore. It's going to be fried rice. What happened? What happened to the scope?
It has to be redefined.
The scope has changed. Don't forget, we said in Agile, we welcome change, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We said in Agile, we
Yes.
welcome change even at the later stage of development.
Stages.
Mm.
Yes.
You remember we said that. Now, it doesn't mean because we said that does not mean we wouldn't capture the change.
Mm.
We need to capture the change, and we need to understand the impact of that change. And we need to know, let whoever has requested for the change to know what is going to happen based on that change that they've requested for. That scope that has changed may affect our timeline.
And probably the cost.
It may also affect our costs, because if the product is meant to be ready in 1 week, and now because they have added more to the requirements, the product is now going to take us 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Mm.
The time has, now you have 5 people working with you, and each of them per day, they charge 600. What you have budgeted for before as a delivery manager is 5 people working for you, 600 for 1 week. Now that the scope of work has changed to 3 weeks, would you keep quiet?
No.
Will the money come from your pocket?
No.
That's why the change needs to be captured. Look at the cost as well. If they give you a cost and you see that the budget they've given you is not going to be sufficient, will you keep quiet?
No.
You need to call it out. If what they have said to you is, oh, we're giving you £10,000 to deliver XYZ, and you look at it, that £10,000 is not going to do XYZ, and they said to you, we need it in 3 months, and you realistically look at it with the team, and you know that 10,000 can only deliver X, it wouldn't deliver Y, and it wouldn't deliver Z, then you have to communicate that expressly to them. And you tell them, guys, if 10,000 is all that you have for this product, then it's only going to give you X. And to be honest, we may not need to spend 3 months doing X. Perhaps 1.5 months will be sufficient, or 2 months at the maximum. Can you see that the timeline has changed?
Hmm?
Because of the budget. And it could be because of time as well. I've given you an example on time. If the time you are given gets all elongated because of your recklessness, because you couldn't manage it well, or because of some things that have happened, or because of an external forces that you can't cope with, then it's going to affect your budget. And you might need to redefine your scope of work as well. So if we look at that, I believe you, with this now, you understand when we're talking about the triple constraint. One other thing that you need to understand today, which is important for me, is your definition of what project is, what a program is, and what portfolio is. I believe you all understand that, right? Do you?
Please come again for me.
What is a project? Guys, what is a project? Can anybody define projects to me? For me?
A project will contain cost, time, scope, and quality.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? You've just given me what I put on the board. Well done. Thank you.
A project is a temporary endeavor that has a beginning and an end date.
Yes.
Has a start date and an end date.
Thank you. Well done. Anybody else?
Project is an activities embarked on by experts with a targeted time for delivery of an utility.
Just to add to what I said, it is, or it can be referred to as a business as usual kind of plan that doesn't take a long time to complete, so that the team can move on to the next project.
Okay.
Project.
You've added another twist to it now. That was not there before, so we'll see to it. Ola, you raised your hand.
Yeah, project generally will have a beginning and a set date for deployment, and it's always for a specific company, not something that has to be for everyone.
Okay, you said for a specific company. Okay. Thank you.
A series of tasks or activities that need to be completed in order to achieve a particular outcome, specific outcome.
Thank you. So what is a program? When we say program, what does it mean to you?
It's a collection of projects that have, they're usually grouped along a similar theme in order to group them into a collation of group together projects. Either they're trying to achieve a strategic goal or something is what aligns them into a program, but underneath it, it's a series of projects aiming to achieve a broader objective.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody
That's
else?
good.
What's a program? Hello? Ola, you raised your hand?
Yeah, just in addition to that, a project generally will be something that is brought out of correction, trying to improve on the existing plan. It's always to create something new.
Okay. Anyone else? Some of you will start well, you give a definition, but you now give another one that would now destabilize what you have given. Eh?
Sorry. Project to me is a single job to be done, while program is collective of projects.
Okay, thank
together.
you. So what's a portfolio, guys?
Sorry, please, apologies. All the QAs on the call, please go into the breakout room. Thank you. Please proceed, boss.
Thank you. So what is a portfolio? When we say portfolio, what does it mean?
Collections of programs.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Collection of responsibilities or individuals that will be doing the program, working on the program, as it were.
Okay.
Or responsibility that will be, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You've all tried. I want you to read through what I have here.
Okay.
Project is a temporary endeavor that is time-bound. Somebody is raising your hand. Okay. A project is what? What did I say a
A
project is?
temporary endeavor that is time bound and set up to create a unique product, service, or result.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's time-bound. It's set up to achieve a specific, yes, a unique, product, service, or result. It could be a product, it could be service, it could be a result. Now, the reason why this is important is so that you will be able to know the difference between what we're saying. And, when we talk about projects, it has timeline. There are deliverables. It has budgets. Now, when we talk of program, a program, just as Kemi said, and some of you, it's a collection of related dependent projects. Don't forget what I said. They are related, they are dependent projects. And the reason we bring them together is because it gives us easy organization and coordination. So in essence, it would help us to reduce risk. For example, you want to build a house. There are many projects that can come up from building a house. Please give me an example. What are the few projects?
The water system.
Good. Any other one?
Electrical section.
Fantastic. The electrical work. Any other one?
Structural.
Pardon? The
structural, yeah.
Any other thing?
Interior decor.
Interior decoration. Good. So there are so many projects. You can imagine if your plumber is going to be your electrician, what do you think is going to happen? If your electrician will be your bricklayer, what's going to happen?
Disaster.
Or you ask your bricklayer to be the one that will do the electrical work of your house.
Specialists in their different fields.
So, but these are all going to be within the same program. The entire house itself is a program, but there are projects within it. Do you get it? So now, those projects cannot just stand alone by themselves. You imagine there are people that are specialists in making windows, doors. There are people that they are excellent plumbers. And there are people that their own job is roofing. There are people that are fantastic bricklayers. And some people are very good at plastering. Some are good at painting. All those things are various projects on their own. A bricklayer has nothing and may not know nothing about electrical work. You can imagine if the electrician comes and says, they've not started this house. For example, I want to build a house and I've contacted somebody that will do the electrical work. Will he be able to come and just start his electrical work without the bricks being laid? The blocks have not been laid, nothing. And he just says, these bricklayers are wasting my time. Will he be able to start running cables?
Mm-hmm.
Pardon?
Will be scheduled time bound for the next contractor to come into work.
He wouldn't be able to start anything. Yeah. It would be dependent on them being able to start work before he can start his own work. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
They are working within the same program, house number 5. It's the same house, the same property. But they are interrelated and they have dependency on themselves. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about portfolio, a portfolio is a collection of programs, projects. We have what we call standalone projects. A project that may stand on its own. It's not within any program, just a project on its own. So we have collection of programs, projects, BAU, or other related operational work. And that's what I was trying to correct, Kemi. When you said the other time, you first said, oh, project is this, and later you now said it may be BAU. No, it can't be BAU. When we say BAU, we know what BAU means, guys. Do you know what it means? Do we
Business
know
as
what
usual.
BAU means?
Business as usual.
It means business as usual. Business as usual is not a project. What did I say?
Business as
BAU
usual
is not
is not a
project.
project.
Please don't go to any job interview and tell them business as usual is a project. You won't get the job. Oh. It's not a curse, because business as usual are things that we do on a day-to-day running of making the organization work. For example, I get to work in the morning, I turn on my screen and the screen is shaking. Maybe because the cable or the screen is not turning on. My laptop is fine, but it's just the screen that is not turning on. Maybe because the power cable is. Do I need to start a project to fix that? Kemi,
No, you
do I
just
need
need to
to
reach
start a.
out to IT.
I just need people
It's
that are just
operational.
there. Operational. They just come. They just make things work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There are things that we do to keep the business running. It's not the same as us saying, oh, we need to change the entire system of this company. Changing an entire system of an organization can be a project, and we would have timeline for it, and we have a budget for that. Okay, I went to work and my laptop is not working properly. Where do I take it to? When you get to work or you're at home and your laptop or something, for those of you that have been in project management before, You call the help desk, isn't it? Or you take it to the help desk. What are they going to do for you?
The result,
They
they try to
check your
resolve it.
machine and try to resolve it.
They look into the machine and they try to get it resolved for you. Do you need to start a project to do that?
No.
No.
That's just business as usual. See? That helps you to keep the business running. We buy little things, we change cables, we do these. Those are business as usual thing. The fluorescent. Maybe some bulbs are not working or the window is not opening properly. Those are things that we do to keep the business running, isn't it?
Yes.
Do I need to start a project for that?
No, there's no need to.
So we need to understand this. That's why this is important. A project is set up to achieve a planned objective. It follows process, timeline, budget, and there are deliverables that that will be produced, and a product that would achieve by setting up that project. A project is set up to deliver a product. All right? I hope we understand what it means now. Are we
Yes.
together?
Yes.
So this is what, from here now, we now go into the people that are within all these three categories that I've placed before you. We talked of the project. As a delivery manager, you can operate on the project level and you can operate on the program level, depending on the organization. But you are not on the portfolio level. Are we clear?
Yes.
There is what we call PMO. What is PMO? Am I talking too much? You are keeping quiet on me, guys. Is it getting boring? Maybe I should shut up.
No, it's not.
Project management office.
Okay. It could be project management office, it could be
Could be
program
any one of
management
those.
office,
Yeah.
and it could be portfolio management office. But the most popular of them is the program management office. Why? Because program management office is what sees into the day-to-day running of the project management office. As a project manager, you manage your project office, but the program manager manages the projects within the program, like the example I gave you. A program manager manages the work of the electrician, the plumber, the bricklayers, the decorators, the plastering people, whatever it is that is happening within the program. And the project managers would report to the program manager. And this is where you come in as a delivery lead. If you work in the capacity of a delivery manager in a big organization, then the Scrum Masters will be the one on the project level reporting to you as a delivery manager. Is this helpful, guys?
Yes, very.
Now, to run a program office, you need to understand how it works as well. And that's what brings us to the next one, where we talk about program management office. When we say PMO, it means program management office. Some people will say, I'm a PMO. You are not a PMO. PMO is an office, not an individual. You can be a PMO analyst, but not a PMO. I hope that makes sense, everybody.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
So we set up program management office to provide management support and organization to all the activities that is happening within the related projects or within the programs. And sometimes it could be for the entire portfolio. In this context, we want to achieve the aims and the objectives. We want to see that it aligns with the organizational business strategic goals. And we want to see how we can effectively achieve that with help of the program office. That's why when you get a job, it is the program office that would organize induction for you. It's the PMO analyst that would make sure that you get a laptop. They are the ones that will welcome you before you go to your team. The PMO office will be the ones asking you for your reports. Are we clear, guys? Because they want to see that everybody is doing what they are supposed to be doing. They want to see that we have uniformity across board within the program. They don't want you to create your own report style, different from the report style of other people within the same program. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm going to end it here for tonight. I think it's getting too much on you guys. So I'll end it here tonight. When we meet again, I don't know, then I'll leave that to Olawumi. Next time we meet, we'll take it up from here. Any questions so far? Any question?
No.
Okay, so within Blue Sky, you guys need to understand how Blue Sky works. And you need to know where you fit in as a delivery manager. Within the team that you have been assigned to, you need to know who is who. And that's what's going to take us to the next phase for you, where you understand what we call the organo chart of the organization. You've got to understand the organogram of the organization to know who is at the top, who is the chief executive, and who is my manager. You need to know who your line manager is. And you need to know whose line manager you are within an organization. Line management is critical. You've got to understand it. So part of your homework is to know where you fit in within Blue Sky as an organization. Is that clear, guys?
Yes,
That's
please.
homework. Please don't say I've just asked you to read it. It's a homework. You've got to be able to tell me where you fit in. Or if you want to diagrammatically show it to me, that would be good. Okay? If you can't show it by diagram, no problem. I'll be happy if you can. All right? Are you all there? You're quiet on me now, guys.
Yes,
Yes, Femi.
yes, we get it.
Yes.
Okay, so I need you to be able to let me know that you understand where you fit in within Blue Sky as an organization. Okay?
Okay, noted.
All right. So when I see you next time, I'm going to ask for it, and you should be able to present it to me. All right? So every organization has hierarchy. Like you would have this. You need to know who is up, who is below who, and who is where. Okay? Are we clear?
Yes.
All right. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Femi.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for me. Thank
You're
We
you.
welcome.
started on a very wrong note, but we are back on board. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So what wrong note did you start from?
And you were very upset that
That
most
we
of us
all
didn't
came
show up.
late.
Yeah, came late. Yeah.
Yes. And I don't want that, guys, to be honest. And you can see that I'm sure you would all understand what I'm saying now.
Absolutely.
If you are not on this call tonight, or you are driving, or you are cooking when I've been teaching, for those that are not here, many of them, I can assure you, they will not be able to watch the video. And if any of this topic comes up again, they will tell me, Femi, you didn't teach us. You didn't show us anything. Even if they are listening, they can't see it. And they will say they were never taught. So it will make it difficult.
Just to encourage you as well, I've been struggling with, because I'm a BA, by the way, I've been struggling with the user, how to set up user criteria, and all the background you gave us was fantastic. Well explained, I quite understand it. And I can even go further to check on things I research to see that I'm on the right track, as it were. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad I've helped you. So that's good. That's the most important thing for me. And I'm really happy. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Enjoy your
nice
weekend.
weekend as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good evening too.
Thank you, Femi.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Femi. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night.